Today we're going to swatch all of my Arteza watercolor and do a little painting. I'm still learning with watercolor. I'm still learning with gouache. I feel like I use gouache like watercolor and I use watercolor like gouache. So I still have some work to do. But let's check out the 60 color set of Arteza watercolor. I got my set, I think, last year for Christmas. I got a gouache set and I got a watercolor set, and I'm just now really messing around with them and seeing the colors and the variety. I just checked the Arteza website and they're selling this same set for $41.99. They're 12 milliliter tubes and there's 60 colors, which I think is awesome. So if you're like me and don't have a ton of formal experience, like college education, and you're kind of just winging things and doing experiments and figuring things out as you go, I kind of like the big sets because you don't have to worry about color mixing right now. You can just focus on some other things. I do think eventually it will be nice to just be able to use the primary colors in white and black and make whatever I want from that. But for now, I'm happy to have options. Like, this brings me joy to see all of the colors and look at the options and be able to pull a color palette together. From what I can tell, I feel like they've given you a good variety of cool red, warm red, cool blues, warmer blues. Same thing with the purples too, just like the violet and the lavender, and the lilac is really warm and the violet's really cool. Like, they really give you options. The yellows, same thing. So I really think this is a perfect beginner set for anybody. I don't think it's too fancy for somebody just starting out. I think it's very affordable for how much paint you get. It will last you a really long time. So I'm not sponsored, obviously. There's no affiliate link. It's just something that I purchased and I'm sharing. That is a thing of beauty. But these colors are very vibrant. I don't know what my favorites are. I think I really like the reds, which is weird because I never use reds. I love seeing all these colors. Love it. And this is definitely going to help. I want to use some of this leftover paint and add to our sketchbook here. I found this old sketch that I did in 2021. It's just a colored pencil, a vase with some flowers. I want to try to recreate that. Almost a round vase. If you don't like your sketch, you're not going to like your painting. I'm not going to go too crazy detailed with this one. In fact, I'm beginning to think that I like some of my most simple work is like my favorite work. So, go figure. I try to make it detailed and beautiful, and I don't like it like that. Let's do this Arteza sketchbook has very thick paper, and the watercolor was just like soaking in. I did some wet and wet technique off camera, and it worked really well for that. The funny thing is, like, the more art that I do, the more work goes into the planning and preparation and not necessarily the execution. Now, don't get me wrong, I like just messing around like I am here, just seeing what the paint does and playing with the colors and just kind of having fun and zoning out and just enjoying putting paint on paper. But the work that I really like love at the end of it, the things that I've been most proud of, I've spent so much more time like revising a sketch and planning the colors and really putting the work in on the front end. And then when the actual painting part comes, it's like so short. It's kind of a different thing, like getting in your sketchbook and doing whatever you want and experimenting and just messing around kind of puts you into that flow state, or it does for me anyway. I could just put on music or a show or a podcast or something and kind of just do whatever. But I don't always like the results that come out of that. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, ugh, that's terrible. But I still had fun doing it. But the projects that I like spend time, learning about the composition, how I want to do that, picking the colors, doing several sketches to get a final sketch, and then transferring that sketch to nice paper, and then making the painting on top of that. I usually like those better. Not always, but those are the ones that I end up liking a lot more. But the actual painting process was like 10% of the whole thing. So it's just interesting how your art practice can be a variety of things. It doesn't have to just look like one thing, like completed finished work or messy sketchbook things. You're allowed to do whatever feels good to you. I hope you got a good idea of what's in the Arteza set in case you're interested in purchasing that. It's always nice to like look at it first before just spending $50 on something. But I do think it's a good set from what I can tell. It doesn't actually look like watercolor. I think I used too much paint. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me swatch and paint. It's just a chill, relaxing video, something you can put on in the background. Maybe get a better idea of which kind of colors come in the set. I still have quite a few art supplies to go through and swatch, so look for future videos like this. Am I the only person who watches YouTube on TV? Do I love this? No. Am I happy I made it? Yeah.